What is up, gamers? The Red Dragon here, and we are checking out some air superiority. I've got some tips for you that hopefully will help you out, especially if you're just starting out or if you're just an average player. I am not a professional jet pilot, I will admit that right out of the gate, but I do have some things that I think will help some people out, so I'm going to go ahead and give these to you first. First off, if you are a person who's never gotten into a jet before and you don't really fly in the regular game, this is a perfect game type for you to get your unlocks and to rank up your jet. Okay, so there are so many other jets in the air that you will be able to eventually get lucky and get some things. And even if you can't shoot right now, if you don't have any unlocks, first thing is cap the flags. You get so many points, and it doesn't take very long at all in order to capture the flags. And I mean, that's the name of the game, that's how you win the game, is you actually cap the flags. And you'd be surprised at how many people, or maybe you probably wouldn't be surprised, but how many people ignore the flags and just stick straight to dogfighting. I've seen games where people won't have any kills but will still be #1 on the leaderboard because they just focused on capping flags. And you can get your unlocks, you can get a ton of points just by doing that. So especially for you noobs out there who don't have anything yet on your jet, that's the way to get it. Focus on the flags. Number 2, get used to using the machine gun. All your good pilots, they are going to be using the machine gun, and it just takes practice. You have to learn to line up your shot and how to shoot ahead and try to lead your target. And the one thing that's going to help you is practice. It's going to be missing a lot and just going out there and keep on trying to use that machine gun in order to take down your opponents. Third is using your setup, and there's no perfect setup, okay, but there are some things that will be different from the regular game. If you're playing Conquest, you know, then maybe you have on air radar and proximity and stuff like that to let you know what's going on. But there's so many jets in air superiority, you don't need those. So you actually will have a different combination for air superiority than the other. I know my setup that I've got right now that I really enjoy is I've got belt speed, which really helps your primary load back up faster, gives me a lot more bullets. And then I've got flares, and then I've got heat seekers. And heat seekers are great because you never know whenever they're going to hit. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. I don't rely on them solely, but if you use the heat seekers right, you can really rack up a lot of kills or at least a lot of assists. And there's a couple of things that you can do with heat seekers that will really increase your odds of getting a target. So the first thing is lock on to somebody and just be patient. That's the one thing that people always mess up on, is they lock on to somebody and they go ahead and they fire off immediately. Go ahead, wait, and a lot of times your enemy will actually go ahead and deploy flares, whether it's because you're targeting them or maybe somebody else is. Wait for those flares, and once you see those pop out, then you can target. But the thing is, sometimes if you see the flares come out for a little bit and you wait a few seconds and you fire, the missiles still don't hit. The best thing to do is to drive past the flares so that you don't see any flares on your screen and then fire your missiles. And you will still have time because it'll take time for the enemy's flares to actually come back up. Now, that usually works perfect if you've got a little space between you and the enemy, but if you are like right up against the enemy, then in that instance, then I do change it up and I will go ahead and fire off immediately, because a lot of times, even if they try to deploy flares, they won't have time to deflect all of them. But the thing is, if you used heat seekers, go ahead, fire them off, but immediately like get used to flipping right over to the machine gun in order to finish that job off, because a lot of times they'll just be disabled or they'll be wounded, and you are going to, once again, like I said, get used to using that machine gun in order to finish off your targets. So those are my quick few tips for air superiority if you're just starting out. If you've got any tips of your own, please leave them in the comment section. And as always, I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, your comments, all that other good stuff. That does it for me, the Red Dragon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.